Welcome. So good to see you guys, John and Greg. Long time no see. How are we feeling?
Feeling great. Feeling great.
We're
Yeah.
feeling great. Yeah. And happy Thanksgiving. We're here in Michigan with our family and just about to eat some turkey. Yeah.
How are you guys feeling?
Happy to see you two again. Last time we saw you was, such a long time ago.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, too.
Happy Thanksgiving. We're stoked to see you guys. It was so fun to run the race with y'all. And then I feel like we've established such a real friendship outside of the race. So it's really cool to just be able to catch up with you guys. But for context, for people that are watching, you'll see that I'm not signing right now. That's because we have my younger brother off to the side interpreting. So that way I can also be involved in the conversation, but he'll be voicing for my dad and signing for us as we have the conversation. But in general, we thought it'd be super cool to just do a little bit of a conversation about how we're feeling about the race thus far, some first impressions, give some sneak peek to some behind the scenes stuff you don't see on the race.
Oh, yes.
First, we thought it'd be super cool. Obviously, John, we saw in episode 1 that you know a little bit of sign language. You want to tell us a little bit more about, what you know, how you know, why?
Yeah. So I work at Google and they give classes for free. I heard that it was like, why not? So it was maybe a year and a half ago that I took classes online. And I took them for maybe 6 months or so and just had a lot of fun with it. Like, I think I hadn't learned any ASL beforehand, so it was all super new, and just allows me to really connect and meet people in a new way that I just couldn't before.
And he was so excited to find out that Rob speaks, or that both of you spoke ASL, because he doesn't really get to practice all that much.
No, so I practice not at all, and I've forgotten a good amount of it. But it's the easy stuff's still there.
Yeah, so it was great for him to practice with you all. So he was so excited.
Yeah, that's cool. That's amazing. And I remember when we were in the meeting, kind of the pre-meeting, the first time I saw you guys finger spelling with you two, I was like, wow, I realized you could finger spell a little bit. And I was like, I felt a little bit intimidated.
Well, Johnny, go ahead, Corey.
I was just going to say, I think I remember in one of those moments, it was one of those meetings where, John's finger spelling off to the side. And I look over at my dad and I'm like, oh, we might have to be careful about how publicly we sign. Because before that, we were like, we can talk whenever, wherever, people aren't going to know. And I was like, oh, maybe we need to be a little careful if we're strategizing in front of us.
Well, I was looking for any signs that had John or any that had Greg, and then I pay attention and just make sure you were keeping it clean.
That's awesome. Did you at any point pick up anything that we were saying to each other?
Nothing substantial, usually just regular gameplay or vocabulary, grammar. Mostly I was just trying to learn and see what's typical that you would say. Yeah.
Yeah, after we saw you two finger spelling, we were so concerned that we had to kind of side talk to each other, make sure you didn't see us talking because we don't know how much you knew.
Well, all you need to do is finger spell really fast and I wouldn't understand a thing. Not a thing.
Yeah, I gotta say though, with only you said a few months of classes, it's awesome that you've still been able to retain some of it. Because I know I hear so often that if you take a little bit of sign language and then you don't really get the opportunity to use it, a lot of people are like, oh man, I used to know, but I lost it. So it's cool that you at least retained some of the stuff to be, generally conversational with us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I love a few signs like turtle and doctor. Some are pretty easy to remember. So
yeah, I was also impressed. I'd never really seen him do it in action. I've always seen him on the classes, signing, but I've never actually seen him do it. So I was also impressed. Johnny's really good at languages. So yeah, it was great to see.
Yeah, I really want to go to Japan because I took that language and learned that, but not this time, not this race.
Maybe next time around.
No, that's cool.
But yeah, so in the vein of first impressions, one of the other thing that I noticed about y'all at the beginning was at one point during one of those pre-race days, I walked by Greg and you 100% completed this crossword puzzle book. Like there was not a page left. I think I remember looking over my dad and I go, we got to keep an eye out. These guys are smart. He's gonna crush all the crosswords, anything that has to do with like words. And I mean, look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. You crushed the first roadblock. That was crazy.
But I also remember you because I remember there was at one point, like right before an interview, I was watching YouTube, and you also had completed a fair amount of the word puzzles at that point too. And so it's funny that both of us, both Rob and I, were the first two to complete that first challenge. So it's something to do with the word puzzles for sure.
Yeah, it was a sneaky way of training us, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but that first few, like I guess week or so was kind of fun because we didn't really get to see, or we didn't get to know anyone, but we got to just kind of make assumptions about people, about like their relationships. We were pretty sure that you were father-son. I mean, you guys are one of the more obvious ones, unless like you were just very like just distant friends, but we were pretty sure.
That'd be awesome. Like, yeah, this is my friend that's 25 years older than me.
They love interesting relationships though. So, I mean, I wouldn't have put it past them.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. What were some of the first things that y'all noticed about us, for either before the race, early in the race? Like, what were your first impressions?
We weren't in the same interview, right? Like, with the first time we saw each other was at the hotels.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, I think so.
It was.
The most stood out was Alex. No. Oh, the sister brother, Alexander and Sheridan. I remember them the most standing out.
Well,
they were like staring at us, and we were like, "Huh? I can't do anything wrong." But really, they're nice people.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great. But Johnny and I, we're rule followers. I remember Chelsea and Robin, they said that they thought we were like mean people because like we just wouldn't make eye contact and like we wouldn't talk to anybody during that time. But we just didn't want to get in trouble. So we were just like keeping our heads down and not saying it. But yeah, Alexander and Sheridan, they were dead eye contact with us. We were like, we don't want to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I was constantly convinced that Sheridan was going to try to say something to me because he'd like make eye contact as if he was about to say something. Similarly, like trying to be a rule follower, I was like, no, like I don't know, you can't talk.
Exactly. Yet.
Yeah, and he always like weirdly like laughed or like smirks. I was like, what's so funny?
What's so funny?
So cute. Wish we had more Sheridan. I'd say we definitely had.
We definitely felt intimidated by him a little bit. I mean, it worked a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
It does. For you guys, I think we kind of saw the father-son relationship, but we really had that good time, that short but good time at the airport. As we were waiting to get our flights to Thailand, that we got to kind of connect, hear about football, hear about you living in New York and your job. And I think right from there, we were like, okay, these two, not only are they in second place, but also they're pretty chill on the outside too. So
we were like baby birds, and you guys were our impression. You know how like baby birds, they think the first thing they see is mothers. We were like, oh, they're great, like
little ducklings.
Yeah, like,
quack quack, Robin Corey, quack quack.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So we're like what? We just finished leg number 8, right? 9.
9.
Yeah.
9 legs into the race. We're both still in it. We were the first 2 teams at the airport at LAX. Like, pretty cool that we're both still in it at this point. You guys have 4 straight wins under your belt. Like, real talk, how are you guys feeling at this moment? Like, you get to that hotel, look at each other and go, we have 4 prizes right now. What was that feeling?
It was honestly pretty incredible. It was something that was gradual though, and something that I think in the earlier parts of the race, we just didn't expect. They were, for the first few legs, we were coming in 8th place, back to back, and thought, whew, at least we're in it. But this was the first time we got to think, okay, we're not even trying to worry about getting out. Now we really are just trying to keep this streak alive, which I think is a new type of motivation. It's like kind of like if you dream it, you can do it. And I think we were really just trying to keep that up.
Yeah,
that was a lot of it.
And I think part of it too is like we knew that you all had an express pass. So as soon as you got the express pass, we were like, it's over. Like the streak is gone. They're about to come up. So thank you for letting us get one more. Really appreciate that because you could have easily passed us. But wanted to know your thoughts too on like how you felt having the express pass in your hand. That's like having a golden ticket, like right there in your hand.
It feels almost like cocky to think this, but I remember thinking of having the express pass as like, we're set through leg 10. Like, just the goal is don't get eliminated, just get through the rest of these legs. And then all we have to do is survive one leg legitimately, no express pass, and we can be in the final 3. So it was like, all right, use these legs to like get into our groove. And I think you probably can sense a little bit of the like, oh, we're good because we make that mistake on the detour in the second Slovenian leg. And in my mind, I'm going, all right, we just need to get through this without using the express pass. The goal is just to make it last as long as it can. And
at that time, we both knew 2 teams were behind us. So we were like patient, holding on to it, going, we didn't want to just waste it too early on the express pass. So we're like, let's wait, let's watch. If the 2 teams don't show up, then, you know, we didn't really need to use it.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys know, as having watched lots and lots of seasons of The Amazing Race, I feel like the perfect strategy with the express pass is to basically not need it. Like the perfect strategy is to hold on to it till the very last possible second, because you don't want to have to like burn it at a time and then need it later. So for us, it was kind of like, in a perfect world, we don't need to use it because we'll do so well in these legs that we'll stay alive until the last time we can use it. We're already going to be ahead, and then we'll just like, bink.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at Morgan and Lena here just a little bit, just like having that patience and using it last second. I think you guys did the smart thing.
Yeah, you guys, it was really smart because I think even people that we were watching with were like, oh, they messed up. Like, why don't they just use their express pass? And we were like, no, they know. They know, like they don't need to use it right now. They have 2 teams way behind them. So you guys handled it really well.
Thank you. But it was definitely one of those moments when we were fighting for that express pass. I remember vivid looking back at you guys coming for us and going, oh no, oh no. Because either they're going to catch us or we're going to have to run so hard that we might just be too gassed for the rest of the leg. Like, I don't know if we'll have the juice to keep going after this.
Oh, yes. And actually, I thought you guys could definitely beat us. Oh, yeah. I thought you had a chance.
Yeah, we've gotten.
Yeah, when we saw you running up, we were like, oh, so stressed. We couldn't believe how much stress it was. We were ready to just go on.
Yeah, we've gotten a good amount of flack for not going for it, but I think people are underestimating how steep those stairs are. I mean, hats off to you guys. Those things were steep. Like we got the 4, like maybe like what, like a 5th or 4th of the way up. I was gassed. You could hear me panting on there. So I was impressed. You guys killed it.
That's the one thing I remember looking back is because, I mean, you told us, Greg, you played football in college. John, you just are very athletic. And so I remember seeing you guys start and I was like, oh, they're so young. They got this. And then when
Go.
I straight up at one point, I got behind him and was pushing him up the stairs. He goes, stop.
So I hear this question of, would Corey have blocked us? Some people were saying that. I don't know if that ever came up in your mind or if that's allowed.
We just talked about this in our recap that we just posted online. So check out our recap for episode 8. But I asked my dad, like, do you think we could have just linked arms and grabbed the railing and been like, no, this is first? And I don't know. Like, I feel like you guys feel the same way where like that. It just feels like that'd be so weird and snaky to do. That's not in our nature to be nice, but also like there's $1 million on the line.
Totally.
Do what you got to do. So I don't know.
Totally. Just keep going. I'm sorry. As you're just pulling yourself up. Yep.
Theoretically, we link arms. Like are you guys like fighting around us? Right? Like,
Yeah, could have gotten a little chippy, could have gotten chippy. But I get it, man. That was a big express pass. And so what did you guys think of Stephen and Ali going for it? Do you think that they knew that the express pass was already taken?
Well, before I even go for that,
yeah.
We had that conversation, Corey, while your dad and Gregory were doing the roadblock when we thought Stephen and Ali got a secret express pass in India. Yeah, and so we were genuinely surprised when we got first on the second leg of India, and I think you looked pretty surprised when you got second. I don't know if you also thought that Stephen and Ali had this like express pass.
Yeah, I remember that conversation vividly. We were like, Stephen and Ali showed up with the bricks, spoke with the person who's checking receipts, and immediately left. When did they get this express pass? How did they do that? Like, it did not cross my mind once that they did something wrong or there was some mix up. Because Stephen and Ali at this point, in my mind, are like the golden team. They're crushing it. They had a 2-hour advantage. Of course, their prize in the last leg was an express pass. The Amazing Race loves to do that. And so it definitely was surprising to find out that you were first and we were second. And then later on, like watching on TV, seeing this almost like step back in performance by them. I don't know if you felt this as well, but because we were, at the top of that leg, we didn't see them. We didn't see how far behind they were. And so this is like surprising for us to recognize that like they had these mix-ups, they had these like mistakes. And when you're not with teams, you don't see those moments. And so it's really interesting to get to watch it back.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And I was really impressed by them this past episode too, because they jumped up some places. They went up because they were dead last time. Well, not dead last, but they were really far behind everyone last time. And now what? They're in third place or something? Like they made a huge jump.
Third? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Joel and Garrett jumped up to second. Steve and Annalie jumped up to third. We snuck our way back into fourth, and it was interesting.
Yeah, that mistake, the buoys and the muscles. Oh, we didn't even read it carefully. That definitely was a big bite.
Yep, and you guys clearly noticed that we had made a mistake early on. Like, were you guys just so stoked? You're like, oh, thank goodness they made a mistake. They can't catch up.
Since we were already ahead, I think I felt kind of like bad. It was just like tough. I think you could actually see me go, oof.
Yeah.
Just because I know the feeling. And it makes sense that you can't just, we'll just find another buoy because you have to replace these ones for other teams to potentially find. So, but Rob, you were you were diving down.
You got in there.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I was searching. We never found that bag of mussels. I think it probably just like sank all the way down to the bottom of the floor or something.
Yeah, because the buoys were pretty spaced out. Like the one buoy was here, then the other buoy was maybe like, I don't know, 20 feet away. So it probably did sink pretty low.
And there was like, hundreds, 400 buoys, something crazy to where it was like, we didn't memorize the grid. We didn't figure out exactly like, oh yes, we're on B4. That's where ours is going to be.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, in a perfect world, looking back, you're like, we'll always have a system. And like, it just doesn't cross your mind when you're racing for first or second. But that was tough.
Yeah, we swam across, tried to find it. We gave up and we're like, fine, we're just going to have to do the other detour and switch.
There was zero hesitation in my dad's mind of getting in the water. It was so funny. Like, we got back to where I thought it was, and immediately my dad goes, that's it. Jumps out of the kayak, goes swimming around, flailing, and it was hilarious. And you notice at one point, like, we're going to the next place. He doesn't get back into paddle. He's like, I'm just gonna swim over there, meet me. And like, he swam faster than I could kayak.
Oh my gosh.
That's so epic. Yeah, because I think you said in the episode that you're a swimmer. Are you like an avid swimmer of some sort?
Yeah, I do surfing. I used to surf a lot. And I enjoy being in the ocean, in the water.
That's great. Yeah. So you almost purposely didn't get the muscle so you can get into the water. That was all the plan.
Oh yeah, definitely. Enjoy swimming.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the safety net of the express pass. Let's have a little fun with it, right?
Yeah. I was really happy to see, I was really happy to see Robin and Chelsea's edit this time around because they were such good spirits. I loved seeing that and them going for a little swim at the end. That was great.
I could not agree more. I loved their energy on this leg. It was really cool to see how supportive of each other they were. Because I know that before that, they had shown some tension, a little more like, frustration in some of their races. But I really liked how they held their heads high and they were like, you know what, let's enjoy it. Let's say that were you guys, you're in dead last, like you have a tough day. Do you think you'd be able to have that same energy of, you know what, let's go for a swim and let's go out with a bang? Or do you think you do everything you can to like keep pushing?
I think we keep pushing because you gotta tell yourself anything can happen. And this season continues just to show that number one golden rule of Amazing Race. Well, I'd say number one golden rule is read your clue. Then it's anything can happen. So I think we'd push, but I wouldn't be happy about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
he might try to get my spirits up, but
yeah. I mean, I feel like with the race, I mean, you got to always keep putting the gas on, but that's also so demoralizing. I mean, you guys were in the same boat. You never really were in dead last place. Like that feeling does feel, I'm sure it feels pretty crushing. But so I don't know what kind of spirits I would be in at that time. It's tough.
Yeah, that's tough to gauge.
Yeah, we're familiar with that. Remember in India when he was doing the dance?
They're familiar. They're familiar.
That feeling was not fun.
That is, I think, the lowest I've ever felt, like maybe in my life, but for sure on the race. That moment of I haven't seen anyone for 40 minutes, like that sucks. So I get it, but I think I just don't have the energy in me to go, let's quit, it's over, enjoy it. We're fighting 100% always. Like we are beating someone. Someone else is gonna have a worse time than
me. Yeah.
And thankfully it was mid race and also early in the leg. And early in the leg, anything can happen. So I'm glad you guys kept your heads held high and chose puppets.
It looks like seriously, that was best decision of the race so far, probably. But I think that goes to show, like, everyone's going to have their ups and downs in the race, and those downs, I think, are when you learn the most about, one, your relationship, and two, your racing mettle. Like that's where you learn what it takes to keep the like EQ and IQ where it needs to be. So I've got an interesting question. If you guys had to like go back with the perspective you have now and tell yourself 3 rules racing the Amazing Race, what are the 3 things you have to do well?
To do well. Well, so before the race, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys talked about it too, but we had some like tenets that we had, some like just general rules that we had for each other, just like going into the race. And Johnny's gonna try to pull them up quickly, but our main ones were definitely don't argue. Like that's our biggest thing. Like arguing never helps anybody at any time ever. Okay, nice. That was quick. Okay, so our top 3 tenets were 1, have fun. That was top number 1 by far. 2 was read thoroughly. So like read the clue thoroughly, like read the directions thoroughly, like just read everything thoroughly. And then don't assume. And that means like don't assume like each other's intentions, don't assume anything about the clue, just don't assume at all. Like take everything for fact. So those were our 3. But
I love it. Would you change anything about those looking back, or do you feel like those 3 were like the 3 highest pillars?
Again, I might just put read the clue 3 times. It's just insane how all of us, including yourselves, this previous leg, like we just don't read it all the way. There's so many words and we're like, we don't need all that. It's crazy.
Yes, exactly. That was.
You know what's really funny? Going into the race, we also had 3 main rules for ourselves. And it is uncanny how similar ours are, because rule number 1 was
have fun.
Rule number 2?
Rule number 2 was read the damn clue.
Rule number 3?
Rule number 3. Well, wait.
Oh, I know.
Hey, we had to pull it up.
We had to pull it up. No shot.
Communicate.
I think it was communicate. Yeah, communication.
Totally. Absolutely.
Something along those lines. But like our rules 1 and 2, identical. And I love that. I feel like that just makes sense given how well our energies like work together. So I love that.
Yeah, it also shows that I think both of us have watched the show enough to understand what the toolkit of skills is.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially the have fun one. Like even Stephen and Ali, the one leg where they weren't doing too hot. As soon as they started having fun and kind of like letting go and realizing that, you know, like they're just gonna have fun, that's when they started to do well. So you do see the teams having fun do the best. So that's a big one.
Yep.
The hard part now is like translating this into life in a like a kind of higher metaphorical way. But
Yeah.
I think there's skills that really could be used day to day.
Yeah, I remember when we just messed up in this recent leg, we made the best out of it. Plus, have fun. And I feel like that made a huge difference. Staying positive no matter what and just getting through.
Yeah. And Todd did a good amount of that this leg as well, which was also pretty charming to see.
I have the chains. I have the chains.
2 chains.
I love Todd. Like looking back, his energy was always infectious. Like he was just one of the most fun-loving dudes, and I loved like just everything about the way he raced was always so fun-loving and then competitive at the right moments. Like he had that sense of like, I'm gonna be such a good people person, play like a brilliant social game, and then as soon as I need to be cutthroat, I'll turn it on.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
And the race has so many. Yeah,
Todd and Ashley, same, so nice.
so nice. And the race, they pull some of the best clips of people, they pull some of people's worst clips, but they leave so many of people's best clips still on the editing floor. Like there's I say it whenever I can. Steve, so funny, like needs more of his one-liners. Yeah, Todd, Ashley, very charming, happy-go-lucky, and a lot of the cast just has those elements. There's just not enough time to take the best out of the people, but they'll take every worst moment they can for entertainment. But it is entertaining.
For every like tough clip you see, there's like 30 Steve one-liners that could be thrown in there as well, and it's just our whole cast amazing, love them all. Yeah, I think we're kind of coming up on a little bit more time than we planned to take here. So anything else that you guys want to mix in here? I've got an idea for a wrap up that we can use, but anything else that you guys want to like talk about?
No, actually, we hit. I mean, at least for me, we hit a lot of the big points.
Yeah,
that I wanted to
big
talk
points.
about. Yeah.
Just a pleasure racing with you all. And I kid you not, when people ask who's the team you vibed with most, it's you two.
And like people ask literally all the time, like
Literally
even at
all
the
the
races, like last night at the watch party that we had, it was always Rob and Corey. So we are so fond of you guys. It's ridiculous. And the world is too. Yeah, it's not even just us.
Absolutely. And we love the whole cast, of course. But again, that day one.
Couldn't agree more. We love you guys dearly. Like same answer, when we're told like, oh, who are the people that you got along with the best? It was always you guys. You guys were absolute stars, such good, kind people, fun to be around, great energy. The whole cast, obviously amazing. So.
Yeah, and my favorite memory going back was meeting you guys on the ferry in Germany. And I was so happy to see you guys.
Yes.
Remember that?
Because we thought we were dead last.
Germany, it was tough. And we see each other, and it was just like, just relieved. Yeah. I can relax now.
Yep. Love it.
Well, thank you. We'll see you guys at the finale.
We'll see you soon. We're excited. See y'all in New York.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good one, y'all.